usually kind of a gradual lessening of abilities. Aphasia, because of how it's acquired through that neurological event, is something that's very sudden. You're usually, fine one day and not fine at all the next day.
That will determine whether he can ever act again. If this is the end of his career, he leaves a legacy of more than 100 movies, but the saddest of all ways to bow out. Sadia Chowdhury, Sky News.
Well, joining me now is Colin Lyall, who is the founder of Say Aphasia, a charity which helps people following aphasia diagnosis and brain injury. Really good to talk to you today. Thank you very much for joining us. Just tell us a little bit more about what aphasia is, what can cause it.
Okay, there are lots of different ways to have that brain injury. Mine was a stroke. I had a stroke 8 years ago. My words in the hospital was kind of yes and no. I couldn't get any of the words right at all, even though my brain is still intact. When I got back home, I had speech and language therapy for about 6 months to practice my words. It's still not 100%. Some of the words is sometimes can't. It takes time to get the right words. And it's been very, very frustrating. I realised that there's 350,000 people with aphasia in the UK. So I decided to do a charity about 6 years ago, and that's what we do. We lots of different things that we do in terms of doing. We go to the drop-in groups. We have 12 drop-in groups in the UK, and we talk. And we go to the drop-in group. There's no rush to get the right words. Some of the words are quite severe. My particular brain is I can't read and write anymore. Other people can read or write. So a lot of people who can't get the right words, get any sort of whole sentence, then they've got gestures or writing down to work out what they're trying to say. And there's no rush to do that. And the charity and the drop-in group seems to be quite successful at the moment. So I keep going.
So you said it's very frustrating because this is not a problem with your chain of thought. It's just a problem with actually expressing the word, getting the word out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the intelligence is intact, and people get very, very frustrating. I think there's a lot of people that get very loneliness, very frustrating, very isolating. And when we go to the group, it's people kind of relax again. Normal people, particularly where there's a group of people, they're trying to have a conversation, and our brain can't work out what they're trying to say. And if we do want to say something, it takes a long time to work out what we'd like to say. When we go to the group, everyone can be a little bit better, and there's no rush to get the right words. But there's just a lot of people who are very, very similar. There's probably about at least 150 people that I know quite well who have aphasia, and it's almost like they're all slightly differently, depending on that particular brain.
And you said, sorry to interrupt you, Colin, but you said you've had speech and language therapy, and it's helped you. You've been able to regain the power of speech, but not everybody with aphasia is as lucky, are they? For some, it gets worse, but for you, it's obviously you've managed to help it get better.
Yes, I think it's very, very. I'm very, very lucky in Brighton to have speech and language therapy. A lot of people can't get sort of speech and language therapy until another 6 months to get in speech and language therapy, and gets very frustrating to get the right words. And I think, in terms of the other brain injury that we have, it's not just people who have a stroke. They're people with tumours. I've even had people had a car crash and have aphasia. So it's lots of different brain injuries that we have going to the group. And some people have aphasia who it's a bit like dementia, where the speech seems to be a little bit worse rather than getting better, even though they're trying to get speech and language therapy to try to do it. So yeah, it's a very very frustrating, but there's just a lot of people who have the same.
Yeah. Well, Colin, thanks so much. Colin Lyall there, the founder of Say Aphasia. Thanks very much for coming on and explaining a bit about it to us here on Sky.